For those who missed yesterday's lecture or want a brief review or refresher, I'm just going to go over the product law, the quotient law, and the power law that we talked about last time. In this case, I'm going to let A equal to 5 and let B equal to 3 for the context of my problem. So for the product law, you have x to the power of A times x to the power of B. In this case, I know what my values of A and B are. I'm letting A equal to 5, so I have x to the power of 5 times x to the power of 3. Now, what would this equal? Well, according to the product law, you would, when you have the same base, so you have x and x, what you do is you just keep the base and you just add the exponents together. So in this case, I have 5 plus 3. So this would be x to the power of 8. For the quotient law, if I have x to the power of A over x to the power of B, this would just be x to the power of 5 over x to the power of 3. Because, again, I let A equal to 5 and B equal to 3. In this case, I would actually subtract as per the quotient law. So 5 minus 3, and that equals to x to the power of 2. So remember, for the product law, when I multiply variables with the same base, the exponents add together. When I divide them, the exponents subtract from each other. Now the power law is a bit different. This one, let's say I have x to the power of A in brackets, all to the power of B. In this case, I would have x to the power of 5 in brackets, all to the power of 3. For this unique case with the brackets, I would actually multiply my exponents together. So it would be 5 times 3. So I would have x to the power of 15. And those are pretty much it for the exponent laws. I think the main thing people or students can get confused with is mistaking the, the product law for the power law. So for example, let's say I let x equal to 2. Then I have 2 to the power of 5 times 2 to the power of 3. A lot of students mistake in this when I say, what does this equal? Sometimes they think, well, is it 2 to the power of 8? Or is it 2 to the power of 15? We can check for that, right? So how you can check for it is just calculate what 2 to the power of 5 is in your calculator, because you're letting x equal to a variable, right? So in your test, if you see x to the power of 5 times x to the power of 3, to check for that, I would just let x equal to 2. That way you can check if the math is correct, whether it's 2 to the power of 8 or 2 to the power of 15. So 2 to the power of 5 times 2 to the power of 3. 2 to the power of 5 is just going to be 32, because it's just 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. But you can check with your calculator if you like. And 2 to the power of 3 would just be 8. So I have 32 times 8. And that happens to be 256. Okay, now let's verify what 2 to the power of 8 would be. 2 to the power of 8, well, that number is actually just 256. And then if you wanted to check what 2 to the power of 15 was, that number is 32,768. So just by letting x equal to letting x equal to a number such as 2, you can check if you which law is correct, whether you're using the product law or the power law. In this case, this would be the correct answer. So when you multiply numbers of the same base, you just add the exponents. The only time where you actually multiply the exponents together is when you have an exponent outside of a bracket.